Back or skip? Skip or back? That's the question we'll be talking today. My name is Bryan. You're watching Game Brigade. This is Skip or Back. Or Back or Skip. I can't remember the name of my own show. But today we're going to be talking about the crowdfunding games on either Backerkit, GameFound, Kickstarter that we are considering backing or skipping. And I'll give you my kind of input, whether I'm leaning for or against on a certain campaign. Hopefully this might help you if you're deciding between them. I'm trying something new. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of games today. I figured why not dive into a bunch of different campaigns, see what we can do rather than like the 3 or 4 that I'm generally really excited for. Let's dive into like the best games of the week. So that's what we're going to be doing. I want to hear what you guys think. Also, before we get to that, I want to say thank you to people who have been supporting me on intotheAM. intotheAM reached out and said, hey, Bryan, we want to support you for another month. So they are sponsoring this video. Thank you so much. I've got this shirt. This is kind of not my style in terms of what I normally wear, but I thought it was kind of cool, you know, got some anime stuff going on, some like zoomed in faces. Thought it was kind of a cool shirt. Plus, my daughter kind of likes that kind of stuff, so why not? You got to support the family, right? Check that out. They have a 20% off when you buy a 3-bundle pack, and then if you use my coupon code BOARDGAME, that's an additional 10% off, so you can get 30% off right now off of intotheAM's 3-pack bundle graphic tees. Check it out. I really do appreciate the support for the channel. So with that, let's hit the first game. Okay, so the first game we'll be taking a look at today is Castles of Mad King Ludwig, Renovations 2nd Edition. Now, I talked about the Colossal and, not Renovations, but the Colossal Mad King Ludwig when it came out like a year ago, 2 years ago. I feel like it's been a while. I did a Should You Back on that video, and I was intrigued about Masters of Cuddly Mad King Ludwig. Basically, the premise of the game, you're playing down these tiles, building up a castle, scoring points based off the rooms you build, and kind of having fun with the structure. It's a thematic game, fun game. I get into those kind of ideas because I get pulled into the theme of games quite a bit. But it's a table hog for one. They were really also showing the Colossal version, which was just a massively overly scoped game. So I decided to not back it. Here they are coming in again with Renovations. Renovations is a super simple concept. Basically, they're going to have new tiles that are kind of like, not double-sided, but they're like split in terms of the rewards. You can kind of see that example here. And you'll actually be placing those on top of pre-existing rooms because you're renovating that room to score additional type of points or get bonus points. Kind of helps along the scoring track and moves things along a little quicker. I think it's kind of cool. Again, I like the idea of designing your castle and having fun with it, but I didn't move it on the first one. So again, I'd have to purchase the Mad King Ludwig edition as it goes, but that's an option because you can do that here. So they have the Colossal version. If you do not have the Colossal version, you're going to have to get Renovations, and Renovations is not compatible, or the Colossal, this is not compatible with Colossal. So if you have the Colossal edition, you have to go with this one. And this one is going to be available for retail like people, so if that's something you're looking for. I'm all over the place. Stay on track, Bryan. The next thing is they do have this Pledge 3 option, which is something I kind of considered. This basically gets you a lot of the expansions if you're looking for that. $110. But, if I was going to get this, I would really highly consider where'd it go? I just literally saw it 2 days ago. Oh, here it goes. Let's click this button. See if it'll load up. It does. Let's cut to this. This is the Bazier Games' web store. If you're looking to purchase the Colossal version, this is a way you could do that. But you can see here, $299. It's such an expensive game. And I'm like, am I getting enough content? Am I getting enough value out of this? Am I going to be playing this enough to warrant this over, say, like Oathsworn or something? I don't know. Probably not. And that's why I skipped it the first time. And most likely, I'm going to be skipping it again this time. So that's Mad King Ludwig, Castles of Mad King Ludwig by Brazier Games. They have 3,300 backers. They're doing quite well. 160,000 funded. The next one is Tycoon, the board game. And right off the bat, I love, again, theme. I'm a themer game, guys. I just love theme. I love the idea of building up my park, filling it with attractions, filling it with different types of amenities, buildings, and then filling with animals to maximize the park enjoyment. That was something I wanted from my dinosaur world, that game failed for me because the part that I wanted, the most fun with, the park and designing that park, fell flat. Zoo Tycoon looks like it fixes quite a bit of those issues that I was kind of having. But the only thing is it's kind of a heavy game. When we come over here to the Board Game Geek, oh, I clicked the wrong button. Did not mean to click that button at all. We won't click that again. Let's click this button. When I come over here to the Zoo Tycoon board game, you can see the weighting scale is 3.56. Now, I actually fairly trust these weight scales in terms of the difficulty to get these things to the board. I don't really have issues with the weight of games in terms of the difficulty level. I can usually figure it out. But what I do have troubles with them is the ability to get them to the table consistently and enough, because usually we have to read the rule book, learn the game, and then we can play. Everything's fine. But generally, in my player group, we'll cycle games. We'll play this game, and then maybe 2 months later, we'll play it again. If it's too far in the heavy scale, that means it's requiring an entirely new teach, which is another hour learning the game. Not something I really want to do, but I do like the look of this game. I like the experience of this game. Everything about it is kind of cool. So let's come back to the page and kind of talk about what we have here. So what I like is the pledge levels here. They have the deluxe version. The deluxe version is going to include the screen printed meeples, and that's so cool. I just love screen printed meeples. Look how cool they look. Look how cute. I want them. I just think these are the super, super cool things. But here's the thing. Why back now? I think this is pretty funny too. What is this? As confirmed by hundreds of players questioning the price of the game, it is very fair. Our price is very fair, and we're going to raise the price in the future, so be aware of that. I think that's an interesting way to sell a board game, telling us that, hey, we believe it's a fair price, and you should back it because of that. I think that's kind of funny. But they're asking 105 CHF. I actually have no idea what CHF is, but it's about 106 US dollars. That's expensive, but I can see it because of the amount of screen printed meeples you're getting here. 234 animal meeples is quite a bit of wooden components that are pretty nice looking, and they're double-sided screen printed. So I can see that cost being justified. The game looks good. It's currently in my watch list. I'm saving it right now, and I'll make a decision. It is a back game for me in terms of the gameplay, in terms of everything I've seen. But there are enough competition. I could see it being kicked out of the potential backing for me, in terms of it. I'm not backing it right now, but it's on the watch list. The next game here is Queen's Dilemma. This is by Horrible Guild. Now, I am watching this one. I played King's Dilemma. I finished it, and I was disappointed by it. I'll let you guys know, King's Dilemma went from like super high. It was started off one of the best games I played. We were having a great time. But as the game went on, it slowly fell. Just like this. Until we got to the climax of the completion of the game. And I was like, oh, thank God that's over. I'm just done. And it's not like we aren't legacy players in my group. We had just finished Betrayal Legacy prior to that. We then dove into Queen's Dilemma. So we were grinding these legacy games. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe we grinded too many legacy games. I don't know. But King's Dilemma had core problems that I had issues with. Now, what's interesting here with Queen's Dilemma is what I'm seeing with some of the changes that they're making here. They are actually addressing some of those issues that I had problems with in terms of the agency of being my faction leader and the impact I had on the realm and how the voting worked. They do seem like they're addressing it. Am I going to be backing Queen's Dilemma? No. I am more than willing to skip on the bonuses here, pick this up at retail, but I want to see reviews. I want to know if this game is going to be passing the muster for me after people have played it. The hard thing with that is that this game was sold to me by Shut Up and Sit Down. Their review by itself sold me this game. I made sure to go out and purchase it as soon as I had the ability to, and it just fell flat. And so are those reviews going to be in line with how our player group played? I don't know. But that's why I'm personally skipping. But I can say from what I'm seeing within the changes, it has at least addressed a lot of the issues that I had with the core game. And I believe that it probably is a better game. In fact, it seems like what King's Dilemma should have been. And I feel like King's Dilemma unfortunately got kind of like half of a game in a sense. Because this looks more in line of like what I think the game should have been. Next, we're going to be diving over to 20 Strong. I keep showing up way down here at the bottom. 20 Strong by Chip Theory Games. Now, this one is interesting because it's coming out as a solo-only experience with free shipping at a very reasonable price from Chip Theory Games. Now, I am not a solo player. I try to play solo games. When I do play solo, right now it's been mostly Marvel Champions or Lord of the Rings card game. I don't really play anything else solo. It's not that I don't want to play solo games. I just have a hard time. If I'm going to do that, I'd rather play video games or do something with my family. I just don't take the time to break out a solo experience. But Solar Sentinels seems like it's offering an interesting, easy to play solo experience. It doesn't have a big setup. Like Marvel Champions is easy because it has pretty simple modular setup, but it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of upkeep, a lot of things to keep track of. It's kind of taxing just because of the amount of stuff I got to keep track of. 20 Strong doesn't seem like it's hitting in that same manner. You're going to shuffle up your deck, you reveal it, you got your dice, you roll your dice based on what you want to hit. If you win, you get some rewards. If not, you take damage and you move on to the next card. Pretty quick. And I like that they have these set in different types of IPs of their franchise. You've got the Too Many Bones. You've got I can't remember the name of that game. It's the Victorum here. I did back it. I haven't gotten it yet, but the Hopalomachus of Victorum. I kind of like that. I kind of think this is kind of cool where they're kind of integrating the style, and they're going to be bringing this more with more of their IPs. Probably got like Cloud Spire coming down the road or something. I think it's kind of cool. So I am currently backing this game. I think I really like it. Here's where they're showing where there's going to be a bunch more options coming down the road. I'm currently backing this game at the $65 one. It seems like it's such an easy back. You're going to get some pretty good components, nice little box, free shipping. It's going to cover itself in terms of my cost. If this isn't for me, I can easily move this on for what I paid for it. Not a big deal. Am I going to be making a lot of money from this kind of pledge? Not really what I'm looking for, and I don't think it's going to happen. But I definitely can easily see I can spin this for $65 if it's not for me. So I'll be moving in with this game. This is definitely a back. Next on GameFound, we have Destinies Witchwood. I need to take a drink real quick. And this is by Lucky Duck Games. And this is one that's interesting because Destinies was one that, again, same thing with like the King's Dilemma. Super high, but kind of fell as I experienced more of the game and kind of delved more deeper into the system. Destinies was a good game in terms of the way it implemented the system, but the way they have the overlapping destiny of your characters with the other players really was a sour taste in my mouth. I hated it, especially because when someone might be just randomly stumbling around the map exploring, they discover something. Oh, it's something you needed, but they're going to take it, and now they might be on your destiny. Who knows what's going on? Kind of sucks, you know? And someone could just be one step ahead of you, and it's going to be very difficult for you to catch up. And if they trigger the end game score point, whatever that end game mechanic would be, they complete the story, they get to finish it, and your character is just forgotten. It was kind of an unfun experience. Destinies is taking this into Witchwood, at least, is taking this into a more interesting encapsulation of like what I think is kind of cool. This kind of witchy, Halloween-y feel. I think it's cool. I don't think the minis are needed at all. It's kind of hard. This is like a hard game. Destinies is a fun game, but it's like one that I think is just fine to pick up at retail. I had no desire to play any of the additional bonus content of Destinies. Once I finished the campaign, I was like, great. I had a fun experience with it. Didn't pay too much. Move on. And I think that's where I'd be with Witchwood. I probably would be fine just picking this up at retail. You could probably get it secondhand from someone who's bought it and beat it and moved it on. I think that's what my recommendation on. So this was a skip. There's a lot of stuff going on here that I don't think is needed at all for the campaign. and it's a lot of bloat, a lot of stuff you don't really need to experience the true greatness of the system, I'd wait for retail. And they usually always have a great price at retail. Next, we have Aegean Sea by Carl Chuduk. I believe it's called Chuduk. And this is on Backerkit. And I thought this was interesting because this game actually looks kind of cool in terms of the mechanics. But it also seems like way too grindy, way too difficult for me to actually consider. I kind of went back and forth. Do I talk about this game? Are people going to care about this one? Obviously it's here. I decided to vote for it and say, let's go and cover it. But this is one that I could never see myself playing in a real life situation. Like, Bryan, would you actually play this game? Probably not. The art, or the lack of, is just awful. The game looks horrible. In fact, I kept the Board Game Geek link up to kind of show what this looks like and how this would look like on the board. Like, if this is on my table, like, this is so boring. Like, this puts me to sleep. And it's also convoluted. You've got these over here are your trade goods. You've got your ships over here, your temples, and your population down here. So you got cars coming in every direction. It's a lot of stuff going on. Also, in very heavy game again, 3.5, right in that same area as Zoo Tycoon. Not something that I really want to get to the table. I've got a lot of games that we're trying to consider, and I don't think Aegean Sea wins it for me in terms of what I want. But when everyone I've heard that is into Carl's games, this is a really cool, fun experience. It's a game that you're going to need to play a few times to really kind of grasp the parts of it, the greatness. It is funded. Luckily, they had a small funding goal of $10,000. 69 hours left, so it's going to be very, very little left on this campaign by the time this video goes up. But I do think it's a cool game in the sense of what it's trying to do. It's definitely not for me, though. So I'm skipping on Aegean Sea. Next, we've got Cthulu Death May Die, Fear the Unknown. I've done a Should You Back, and I think I've already talked about this a few times now. We're getting very, very close to the end of the campaign. 42 hours left by the time this recording. In fact, let's cut to this screen because I like this screen a lot. And so right now, I'm backing the Unknowable Pledge, $100. When I did my Should You Back, there weren't any other pledge levels. There were just add-ons. So now we have a few more things. We have the All-Knowing Pledge. This is the $40 discount, basically the all-in pledge, which gets you the core box for Season 3, the Season 4 expansion, the Animal Allies, and this Elder one. You're looking at a total of $250 if you buy these individually for $210. It's not terrible. We're going to be talking about some of the things that I would be looking at overall if I were to back things individually or in terms of what I'm looking for. Of course, you get a million investigators. I had a person comment on my Should You Back saying, is it an issue how many investigators are unlocking? And I was like, nah, it's okay. I like the replayability. At that time, there was like maybe 20. Now there's like 40, man. There's so many investigators. It's like, okay, guys. We got the investigators. We don't need any more investigators. Give us some more, bosses. Give us some more lost episodes. Give us some more variety in terms of the enemies we're going to be facing. I don't need any more investigators. It's just too many. And that's just personal preference, but that's me. So, okay, that's all the stuff you're going to be getting. A lot of stuff in the core box. And the core box is an incredible value. Right off the bat, it's a Should You Back. It's a back. The recommendations of what I'm looking for. In my Should You Back video, I talked about how I thought the Unspeakable box was the best value. Now, how's that changed? Maybe a little bit. You've got the Season 4 expansion. This comes in at $65. Comes with 2 Elder One figures, 20 monster figures, 6 investigator figures, I'm just kind of giving the value here because we'll talk about this. 1 Elder box, 6 episode boxes, 1 unknown board, 6 more, whatever. We need to talk about all the tokens, all the crap you're going to get. It's pretty good. You're getting a good variety of content here in the Season 4 expansion at $65. I think this is a pretty good value. Now, I talked about the Unspeakable box, how at the time it was an incredible value and how I recommended it. These are the Kickstarter exclusive items from Season 1. Very hard to find anywhere. In fact, on the secondary market, they were from $200 to $300. It was incredibly hard to find. So here was an opportunity for you to get it for $120. Now, you get 2 Other One figures, 18 investigator figures, 11 monster figures, And then you get the 5 plastic dashboards, which I think is kind of a value that you can't get those anywhere else, and 2 other boxes. Now, these have scenarios that are unplayable without the season 1 because you need the tiles from the season 1. So be aware of that. I recommended this because of the amount of content you're getting, but it's $120. I do think now with the season 4 being released, this is fairly comparable in terms of the content you're getting at half the price. So if you are on a budget, if you're like, I can only afford so much, I would recommend going with the season 4 expansion because you're probably going to be just fine. If you got this and you're getting those 18 investigator figures, can you imagine adding that to this bloat of it's going to be so many investigators. It's so much stuff. I can't imagine having all those things. So my recommendation right now is the season 4 expansion. If you're on a budget, of course, you could probably get more if you need it. We have some more figures. This Elder One figure, I don't like how they're putting this by himself, but it's an easy way for them to make money. The Animal Allies, I was not really a fan of these. I would probably not get them, but they are Kickstarter exclusive. And if anything that's Kickstarter exclusive will be the thing people demand when you try to resell this. With the Bloodborne pack that I just sold, the thing that people were asking for is, do you have the Kickstarter exclusive heroes? So that's all people cared about. Like, they just want to make sure you had the Kickstarter exclusives. Be aware of that. The large Cthulhu, $180. I think even if there is resaleability on this, not worth it. It's just the headache of trying to get this shipped and the cost of getting it around. Not really worth it for me to take the time to purchase this. The scenario, very rarely have I heard things of people even playing it. It's more of just purchased for this massively sized Cthulhu. And he is massive. I wish they had a better way to show you, like maybe a little miniature down here to give you an idea of how stupidly big this thing is, but it is huge. And then you got your extra dice. I always recommend getting extra dice in games like this. I think it's easy to have dice to pass around, so those are things to be aware of. I almost always buy extra dice. So with all that said, would I recommend buying the all-in? If you come up here, you could. My base recommendation, if I were to go just strict base, I would go base in season 4. That's $165, and then I could do add-ons. But you're going to get a little bit more here. Is it worth it? I'm not sure. This is the only thing I'd want, and he's at $35. At that point, you might as well get all of it, but I really think you only need the 2, and then maybe the Unspeakable box. We spent a long time in Cthulhu Death May Die. I didn't really want to do that. Let's move on to Race to the Raft. Now, this is, I think, the prequel, as what I would say, for Isle of Cats. I've never played Isle of Cats. I'll be honest with you guys. I've never played that game. Never been a huge driver for me. But I like cats, so I was figuring I'll take a look at this campaign. And this is a interesting puzzle because you're going to be moving animals, your cats, to the raft, escaping the fire. And I was like, okay, it's interesting. Let's watch the video. I watched this guy's video up here to kind of get an idea of it, and he does a pretty good job explaining it. The problem I have with it, and the reason I stopped here, is this board is ugly. And I'm just like, man, I can't get past it. I can't get past how awful the fire looks and how just eyesore looking this is. And maybe they're gonna fix it in the production phase, maybe come up with some better looking stuff as they move these pollen animals around. But to me, I just can't get past it. I can't put my money towards this. It's just ugly. But I do hear it's a pretty good puzzle. For me, I'm gonna be skipping this. This is a lovely photo of Richard. Let's check that out. So let's move on to Mosaic. Story of the Civilization. The last time I talked about Mosaic, I was talking about whether or not I should find the Colossal version. I did find it at my local game store, so now I own the Colossal version. So the War and Disasters, what is my recommendation for this one? I am backing this. It is going to have everything that I'm personally looking for to add to my collection for the Mosaic title. Specifically, I like the additional wonders, the additional towns, the naval units, the leaders. All these things are great. The disaster cards in the military and the actual war are the things that people are the most contentious about, which is funny because it's the main title of the game of this expansion. People are like, I just don't want disasters in my civilization game. Those are the worst things that happen to you in any kind of civilization game. But I think it's fine, to be honest. But this is what's really great. Adding more technology to your game. These are things I always like. Give me more of the stuff that's really good. That's what I want to like say Outer Rim. Just give me more of the good stuff. And that's kind of what this is doing. It's giving you a lot more of the good stuff. So I'm definitely in on this game. They're adding some new coins, which is good. The coins in the one that comes with the Colossal version, they give you nothing. It's so sad. But I'm pretty excited about this one. War Disasters, I'm definitely for this one. It's going to go great with my my Colossal version of the game. Super excited, so I'm backing the Colossal. Make sure you also back the correct version for what you have. So I'm going with this one. Mosaic, War and Disasters, back. Next, Oathsworn, Into the Deepwood. We've talked about this a few times. I just had to show it again. They're doing their metal hit point dice unlock here at $2 million. They're moving along 2.5. Can you believe it? Oathsworn is just crushing it as always. This is a game that I'm recommending to people. I think it's a great, cool little system where you're basically a monster hunter going with you're the Oathsworn, which are basically monster hunters. You're going to be going through getting clues for a hunt. The decisions you make along the storyline are going to determine kind of your preparedness for the fight, and you're going to be fighting different types of encounters with different types of rule sets for all of those different types of fights. Very, very excited for what is to come in this one. This, though, is the second edition. Basically, a very close, straight reprint of the original, adding a few changes, mostly with these little baggies here. They're adding this little pouches for you to place your money and coins in, and they have a leather dice roller. This is all the all-in stuff. Otherwise, it's pretty close to being a straight reprint. They're doing a little bit of changes to the rule books to add some more clarity, very minor stuff, and some changes to some of the encounters to make them more interesting. So I think that's great. So I'm definitely going to be on it. This is the upgrade pack. If you already have first edition, you just want to upgrade it to the second pack, you're more than welcome to purchase this. $15, pretty easy, and you can get an idea of some of the changes that they're going to do. But yeah, for the most part, that's it. I'm going to be looking at picking this up here first, the second print, new stuff. Definitely going to be doing that. It's an easy one, guys. This is an easy back. Final one here. Slay the Spire. 2.5. Also right there with Oathsworn on the heels. And this one's interesting. I never have played Slay the Spire. So I went into this like, I have no idea. This game looks okay. This look right here, I'm like, okay, let's take a look. This looks like a $65, maybe $80 game. Come over here to the pledge level, though, and you're like, $100? $100 for what? Like, what are you getting here? You're just getting some, like, standard stuff. I guess you could say, like, the sleeves, you know, that... I don't know, man. This game seems really overpriced. And then here for $145, you're getting everything that comes with the core set, obviously. And you're going to get some play mats so you can place it on your stuff. I don't know. This game looks good. Effectively, you are going to be going up this tower. You're going to be triggering baddies based on the encounters. And where you're at on this track, you're going to be encountering some sort of baddie. And it's a deck builder game where you're going to be getting rewards, adding to your deck. I like those kind of games. You know, they're kind of cool. This is also kind of an indie roguelike where they're using these interesting, you know, kind of generic, not generic, but like, it's hard to say. The art is interesting. It reminds me of a roguelike game. And what can I say? Like, look at this boss. I mean, what can you say there? What do you call that kind of art? Like, I want to say crappy art, but I don't know. Is it crappy? I don't know. It's subjective, right? So you have here the Collector's Pledge. As I said, $145. They're asking for this. Adding for just playmats. It's not too bad because you're getting 4 playmats. Technically 5 if you get the deck playmat here. And they all do fit inside the larger box. So this one's not bad, but overall I'm like, $145. It seems pretty crazy. And then they have the Nyaos all in. $210. Adding another big playmat with a thing to carry it in. This is actually kind of cool. And I wish this was available. If I want this with just the core set, which is the 360 plus cards, extra copy of cards from the board game using beta art from the video game. I think that's kind of cool, but it's also like just bloat, just more stuff to sit around. So the gameplay looks good. Is it $145, $210 good? I don't know. I would say no. But that's because I'm not a Slay the Spire like gamer. So I'd like to know in the comment section, if you are the Slay the Spire person, does this emulate the Slay the Spire experience? Is this something that you're really like wanting to get? Because when Darkest Dungeon came out from Mythic Games, I was like, okay, I never played Darkest Dungeon, so I bought it for $5 on Steam, and I enjoyed playing that. But I was like, do I need to buy the board game? It just adds more, new like stuff, more bits and bops, and takes longer to actually play the game when I can just jump on, experience the game, and have fun for $5. I feel like I could do that with Slay the Spire. I need to know, what do you guys think? So that's it. We are going to cut over to me. That was a long video. I haven't done a roundup video in the sense where I talked about a lot of games at one time. Whew, I kind of want to get you guys' opinion. It's late. It's coming up to midnight right now here in Idaho. What do you guys think? Anything you're back in? Anything I missed? Anything I should have covered? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you for staying till the end. I appreciate it. Wolfpack, peace out.